As fighting between the rival generals continues in Sudan, various countries have started evacuating their diplomats and nationals from the country. The United States of America and UK on Sunday announced that they'd flown diplomats out of Sudan, while France, Germany, Italy and Spain are among other countries that are also organizing evacuations. Jordanians, Palestinians, Iraqis, Syrians were also evacuated from Port Sudan by 4 military planes on Monday. Earlier on Saturday, over 150 people arrived in Saudi. These included 66 foreign nationals and diplomats from India, Kuwait, Qatar, the UAE, Egypt, Tunisia, Pakistan, Bulgaria, Bangladesh, the Philippines, Canada and Burkina Faso. Russia's former President Dmitry Medvedev has warned that Moscow could terminate the Black Sea grain deal. The warning came in response to reports that the G7 nations are considering banning exports to Russia. The deal is crucial for ensuring the supply of grains from Ukraine to all over the world. It is due to expire on the 18th of May this year. However, Russia says that it will walk away from the deal if the West does not lift restrictions on Russian agricultural and fertilizer exports. The deal is a significant diplomatic breakthrough reached till now in the war. However, it now stands in jeopardy. Around 40 protesters gathered outside a building in central Paris on Sunday. The building is believed to be one of the homes of the wife of Russian Deputy Minister of Defense. Ukrainian media reported that she is separated from her husband and is able to travel freely around Europe. The protest, organized by the Anti-Corruption Foundation that was started by Russian opposition figure Alexei Navalny, demands French authorities to freeze her assets. Russian Foreign Ministry has announced that over 20 German diplomats are being expelled from Russia. This comes as a tit-for-tat move in response to the mass expulsion of Russian diplomats from Germany. Ministry's announcement came shortly after Russian Foreign Ministry denounced, and I'm quoting here, another mass expulsion of employees of Russian diplomatic missions in Germany. The statement by the ministry says that maximum number of employees in German diplomatic missions in Russia will also be significantly limited. Reports in German media stated that 34 of the 90 German diplomats remaining in Moscow had been told to leave Russia. Taiwan is looking at ways to build up its defenses as the island becomes increasingly aware of the threat from China. A company called Thunder Tiger Group is developing a prototype of an unmanned submersible called the Seagull 400 that could become a suicide submarine in times of military conflict. The company started to put up resources into developing submersibles about a decade ago. Now, with the prototype of Seagull 400, the growing cross-strait tensions, the company is making a gradual entrance into the defense market. China is rolling out a package of incentive measures to stabilize the size and optimize structure of foreign trade. Chinese Vice Minister of Commerce has said that the package is jointly initiated by departments including the Ministry of Commerce, People's Bank of China and General Administration of Customs. According to him, to stabilize trade in key product categories, more support moves will be hammered out for automakers to establish and improve international marketing service system. He said banks and insurers are encouraged to expand cooperation in policy financing and credit enhancement and to enlarge the insurance coverage of industrial chains. Thousands of migrants detained for months in southern Mexico formed a new caravan in protest on a Sunday. They headed for the capital, Mexico City, to speed up their application for U.S. asylum. The migrants, mostly Venezuelans, started their march in a city bordering Guatemala, whose detention centers have been overwhelmed by their vast numbers. Some say they expected to reach Mexico City in about 10 days. According to authorities, the caravan is about 3,000 migrants, some from China and other Asian countries.
Y la sangre clama justicia y por eso caminamos.
Former Peruvian President Alejandro Toledo has returned to Peru from the United States after his extradition. He has become the third head of state to be imprisoned as the South American country seeks to get rid of years of corruption by its rulers. 77 years old, Toledo has been ordered to serve a pre-trial detention of 18 months inside a police base on the outskirts of the capital, Lima. Two more former presidents are in the same prison. Peruvian authorities have accused Toledo of receiving $35 million in bribes from the Brazilian construction company in exchange for winning the construction of a major highway. Brazil's government has released a new footage of the 8th of Jan riots in capital Brasilia, in which supporters of former President Jair Bolsonaro stormed government buildings. The footage shows how rioters wrapped in Brazilian flags accessed President's office by force. Around 4,000 hours of security camera footage were under police investigation, but a Supreme Court justice has ordered their release after parts of the images were on air on CNN Brazil on Thursday. Supreme Court had earlier ordered federal police to identify people who participated, funded or fostered the riots. Two people have been badly burnt in an apparent gas explosion at an apartment block in Brazil's Sao Paulo state. Civil defense workers and firefighters reached at the scene and inspected the building to ascertain which parts were safe enough to allow in residents to collect their belongings. The two who were badly injured suffered burns to 70% of their bodies, while two others suffered minor injuries in the explosion, which damaged about 10 homes. According to local media, part of the apartment block was used as tourist accommodation offered for rent on internet platforms. Dozens demonstrated in Chile, Santiago, to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the first LGBTQ+ demonstration in Chile on Sunday. On the 22nd April 1973, in the same place, 24 people participated in the historic protest that marked the beginning of the fight for equal rights of LGBTQ+ people in the country. Chile approved same-sex marriage in December 2021 and it was implemented in March 2022. 1 year later, 2,586 marriages have been registered in Chile. 55% of them were of women, according to official data as of March 2023. Voting has begun in northern Kosovo in local elections in a former Serbian province that declared independence in 2008. Serbia does not recognize Kosovo as a separate country. The elections on Sunday have triggered ethnic tensions and fears of possible incidents of violence. Many Serbian voters plan to boycott the votes, while a Serbian independent candidate in the election has urged her fellow Serbs to vote. Millions of smartphones across the UK sounded an alarm on Sunday as the government carried out a test for a new national emergency alert system. The system is intended to warn about dangerous situations, including fires, flooding or attacks. The alarm was scheduled to ring at 1400 GMT on all devices that were using 4G and 5G networks. It rang for 10 seconds and displayed a message notifying phone users that no action was needed. According to reports in local media, some users reported that their devices did not display the message or make a sound, and others that the alarm sounded early. A bird strike sparked an engine fire on a plane shortly after it took off from an Ohio airport on Sunday. The airliner returned safely with no injuries reported. According to the authorities, firefighters quickly doused the flame as the fire erupted. It wasn't clear how many passengers and crew members were on board the aircraft. Airport officials have said that the facility remained operating as usual and the fire only caused some minor flight delays. The Federal Aviation Administration will further investigate this incident. A new report by the European Environment Agency suggests that most vulnerable to air pollution are children, with 1,200 children dying each year in Europe because of it. An expert working with the agency said that Europe is failing its children. The level of key air pollutants in many European countries remains stubbornly above the WHO guidelines, with the effects of air pollution sinking their claws into children right when they are in the womb. It continues to deteriorate their health as they grow up. The first Indigenous Games closed in Brazil's Sao Paulo state on Sunday. After 3 days of athletic competition, the region's Teperama community held its inaugural event as a celebration of Indigenous culture, where Indigenous and non-Indigenous athletes from various regions competed in several games. The games were seen as an opportunity to preserve and reinforce the community's legacy and to introduce it to foreigners and Brazilians of non-Indigenous heritage.
Valeu, guerreiras!
The Belgian coastal town staged a seagull imitating contest on Sunday in an attempt at changing the image of what many regard as pests. About 50 entrants, including first-timers and returning contestants, were judged on their skills at imitating the gull's creatures and movements. A 21-year-old architecture student from the Netherlands, who was a first-timer, won the crown for the best seagull imitation. Authorities in India's northern Chandigarh city have installed metal sculptures made of waste materials in a park to promote recycling and create awareness among people. Under the Garbage-Free City mission, the Chandigarh Municipal Corporation opened the Waste to Wonder Park. The park is spread over 1.75 acres of land and consists of robotic sculptures made of waste products, including pipes, rims, chains, fire extinguishers, among other items. The park consists of 3 sculptures unfolding an 18-foot sculpture that were built in around 3 months. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.